Get up out of your chair right now without using your hands. Can't do it? That's not old age. That's your muscle dying. And after 70, it's happening faster than you can rebuild it. The protein you're eating to stop it isn't even close to enough. 74-year-old man, my patient, ate protein at every meal. Chicken, eggs, a shake after his walk. Did everything right. His scans still showed muscle vanishing year after year. He couldn't rise from a low chair without both arms pushing. He was one bad fall from losing everything, and his diet wasn't saving him. Here's what nobody says out loud. After 70, you hit anabolic resistance. The muscle-building signal that fired at 40 barely registers now. Regular protein knocks on the door and your muscle doesn't answer. So you eat more, you feel responsible, and your body keeps wasting away underneath you. Your legs weaken, your grip fades, and one stumble puts you in a hospital bed you may never leave. I swapped his protein for 6 specific ones. Nothing else changed. 8 weeks later, he stood out of that same chair with no hands, and his scan showed muscle building for the first time in a decade. These 6 proteins smashed past anabolic resistance, hit the exact switch your body shut off after 70, and forced aging muscle to grow where chicken and eggs never could. Now, number 2 on this list is the one that shocked me. It fired the muscle-building switch harder than anything else we tested, and almost nobody over 70 has ever touched it. Every study is waiting for you in the description. Before we get into it, I want to hear from you below. How old are you? And be honest, can you still get out of a chair without your hands? I read every single comment myself, and I answer. Now let's start with protein number 6, which flips on the muscle switch your body shut off after 70, and regular protein can't come close. Number 6, casein protein, the overnight muscle shield. Most people have never even heard of casein, and that is a real shame because this protein does something that almost no other protein can do. It protects your muscles while you sleep. See, when you go to bed at night, your body enters a fasting state. You are not eating for 7 or 8 hours straight, and during that time, your body starts looking for fuel. If you are over 70, your body preferentially targets your muscles for that fuel. It breaks down muscle tissue and converts it into energy just to keep your organs running through the night. This is where casein comes in. Casein is a slow-digesting protein found primarily in dairy products. Unlike other proteins that your body absorbs quickly, casein forms a gel-like substance in your stomach that releases amino acids slowly over 6 to 8 hours. A landmark 2012 study published in the journal Medicine and Science in Sports and Exercise tested this directly. Researchers gave older adults 40 grams of casein protein right before bed and then measured their muscle protein synthesis rates throughout the night. The results were remarkable. The group that consumed casein before sleep showed a 22% increase in overnight muscle protein synthesis compared to the group that received a placebo. Their muscles were literally rebuilding themselves while they slept instead of breaking down. Another study from Maastricht University in the Netherlands followed older adults for 12 weeks. Those who consumed casein before bed every night gained measurably more muscle mass and strength than those who did not, even when both groups followed the same exercise program. The best part about casein is how easy it is to get. Greek yogurt is one of the richest natural sources, with a single cup containing roughly 15 to 20 grams of casein. Cottage cheese is another excellent option, packing about 25 grams of casein per cup. If you prefer a supplement, casein protein powder mixed with water or milk taken 30 minutes before bed is the most effective approach according to the research. The key is consistency. One night will not make a difference, but consuming 30 to 40 grams of casein every single night before bed creates a protective shield around your muscles during the most vulnerable hours of the day. For anyone over 70, this simple habit could be the difference between waking up weaker and waking up stronger. And honestly, this one barely scratches the surface. Number 5. Collagen peptides, the forgotten muscle builder. When most people think of collagen, they think of skincare. They think of wrinkles and joint health. But what almost nobody realizes is that collagen makes up roughly 6% of your total muscle tissue by weight. And after 70, your body produces approximately 50% less collagen than it did when you were 25. That decline directly contributes to muscle wasting. A groundbreaking 2015 study published in the British Journal of Nutrition changed how scientists think about collagen and muscles. Researchers took 53 older men with sarcopenia and split them into two groups. Both groups did the same resistance training program 3 times per week, but one group received 15 grams of collagen peptides daily while the other received a placebo. After 12 weeks, the collagen group gained significantly more muscle mass and lost significantly more fat mass than the placebo group. We are talking about an average increase of 4.2 kilograms of fat-free mass in the collagen group compared to just 2.9 kilograms in the placebo group. That is a 45% greater improvement just from adding collagen peptides. What makes collagen peptides unique is their amino acid profile. They are extremely rich in glycine, proline, and hydroxyproline. These 3 amino acids are critical for maintaining the structural integrity of the connective tissue that surrounds and supports every muscle fiber in your body. Without enough of these amino acids, your muscles literally lose their scaffolding and begin to fall apart from the inside out. A follow-up study from the University of Freiburg in Germany confirmed these findings in older women as well, showing similar improvements in muscle mass and strength after 12 weeks of collagen supplementation combined with light resistance training. The best way to get collagen peptides is through hydrolyzed collagen powder, which dissolves easily in hot or cold liquids. You can stir it into your morning coffee, mix it into soup, or blend it into a smoothie. Bone broth is another excellent natural source, providing roughly 10 grams of collagen per cup when properly prepared by simmering bones for 12 to 24 hours. The research consistently shows that 15 grams per day is the minimum effective dose for muscle benefits in older adults. Take it about 30 to 60 minutes before any physical activity for the best absorption and muscle building effect. But what comes next on this list takes muscle protection to an entirely different level. If you're serious about staying healthy, active, and independent after 60, hit like and subscribe now. The next insight may be the most valuable one we share today. Number 4. HMB, the anti-breakdown molecule. HMB stands for beta-hydroxy beta-methylbutyrate, which sounds complicated, but is actually a very simple molecule. Your body naturally produces HMB when it processes the amino acid leucine. But here is the problem. Your body only converts about 5% of the leucine you eat into HMB, which means you are only producing about 0.2 to 0.4 grams of HMB per day from your normal diet. The research shows you need at least 3 grams per day to see real muscle protective benefits. That gap is enormous, and it widens even further after 70 because your body becomes less efficient at this conversion process. A major 2013 meta-analysis published in the Journal of Cachexia, Sarcopenia, and Muscle reviewed 7 randomized controlled trials involving older adults and found that HMB supplementation preserved muscle mass significantly better than placebo. In some of the included studies, older adults taking 3 grams of HMB daily maintained their muscle mass even during periods of bed rest, which is when muscle loss normally accelerates dramatically. One particularly striking study from the University of Arkansas looked at older adults who were confined to bed rest for 10 days. The group taking HMB maintained nearly all of their muscle mass, while the placebo group lost an average of 2 kilograms of lean body mass in just 10 days. That is a staggering difference that could mean everything for someone recovering from surgery, illness, or a hospital stay. HMB works differently from most proteins on this list. Instead of stimulating muscle building, it primarily prevents muscle breakdown. Think of it as a bodyguard for your existing muscle tissue. It blocks the enzymes and pathways that your body uses to dismantle muscle fibers for energy. A 2019 study in the journal Nutrients found that combining HMB with regular protein intake reduced markers of muscle protein breakdown by up to 20% in adults over 65. The most practical way to get HMB is through supplementation since food sources provide negligible amounts. HMB supplements come in capsule or powder form and should be taken as 1 gram 3 times per day with meals for optimal absorption. The calcium salt form called HMB-Ca is the most widely studied and the easiest to find. Taking it consistently for at least 4 to 6 weeks is necessary before measurable benefits appear, so patience is important. Now, the next protein on this list is one you may have heard of before, but probably not for this specific reason. Number 3, creatine monohydrate, the strength restorer. Creatine has been studied more than almost any other supplement in the history of sports science, with over 700 peer-reviewed studies backing its safety and effectiveness. But for decades, people thought creatine was only for young athletes and bodybuilders. That changed dramatically when researchers started testing it in older adults and discovered something remarkable. A massive 2014 meta-analysis published in the journal Aging Clinical and Experimental Research analyzed 22 studies involving adults over the age of 57 and found that creatine supplementation combined with resistance training increased lean muscle mass by an average of 1.4 kilograms more than resistance training alone. It also increased upper body strength by 7% and lower body strength by 12% beyond what exercise alone could achieve. Those numbers might sound modest, but for someone over 70, that extra strength could be the difference between catching yourself during a fall and ending up in the hospital with a broken hip. A 2021 study from the University of Saskatchewan followed older adults for 12 months and found that those taking just 5 grams of creatine daily had significantly better muscle endurance and physical performance compared to the control group. Their walking speed improved, their chair rise time decreased, and their overall functional capacity was measurably better. Creatine works by increasing the amount of phosphocreatine stored in your muscle cells. Phosphocreatine is what your muscles use for quick bursts of energy. When you stand up from a chair, climb stairs, or catch your balance, your muscles rely on phosphocreatine. After 70, your natural phosphocreatine stores drop significantly, which is one reason everyday movements become harder and more exhausting. Supplementing with creatine directly replenishes those stores. The best form is creatine monohydrate, which is also the cheapest and most studied form available. Simply mix 3 to 5 grams into water, juice, or a protein shake and take it daily. Timing does not matter much with creatine since it works by building up stores over time rather than providing an immediate effect. There is no need for a loading phase despite what some old recommendations suggest. Just take 5 grams every single day with a meal, and within 3 to 4 weeks, your muscle creatine stores will be fully saturated. The research confirms it is extremely safe for older adults with no meaningful side effects at recommended doses. Stay hydrated and you will be fine. But if you think creatine is impressive, wait until you hear about the next one. Number 2. Whey protein, the rapid muscle activator. Whey protein is not new, but the way scientists now understand it works in older adults is genuinely revolutionary. For years, the standard advice was simply to eat more protein as you age. But researchers discovered that after 70, your muscles become resistant to normal protein signals. This phenomenon is called anabolic resistance, and it means that your muscles need a much stronger stimulus to start building new tissue. A 2016 study published in the American Journal of Clinical Nutrition found that older adults need roughly 40 grams of protein per meal to achieve the same muscle-building response that younger adults get from just 20 grams. That is double the amount, and most seniors are not even coming close to those numbers. Whey protein solves this problem because it is the fastest absorbing protein available. It hits your bloodstream within 20 minutes of consumption, creating a rapid spike in amino acid levels that can overcome anabolic resistance and trigger muscle protein synthesis even in resistant older muscles. A 2017 randomized controlled trial from McMaster University in Canada studied 49 older men over a 12-week resistance training program. The group consuming whey protein after exercise gained 2.5 kilograms more lean muscle mass than the group consuming a different protein source. Their leg press strength increased by 14% more than the control group, and their overall physical function scores improved significantly. Another important study published in the Journal of the American Medical Directors Association in 2018 found that older adults consuming whey protein twice daily for 6 months experienced a 7% increase in gait speed and a 15% improvement in chair stand performance compared to those consuming a non-protein supplement. These are functional improvements that directly translate to real-world independence and fall prevention. The best approach for seniors is whey protein isolate, which contains at least 90% protein by weight and is lower in lactose than whey concentrate, making it gentler on the stomach. Mix 30 to 40 grams in water or milk and consume it within 30 minutes after any physical activity. On rest days, take it with breakfast to kickstart muscle protein synthesis early in the day. If you experience any digestive discomfort, try a hydrolyzed whey protein, which is pre-broken down for easier absorption. Look for products with minimal added sugars and artificial ingredients. The research strongly supports consuming whey protein at least twice per day for maximum muscle preservation after 70. And now, it is time for the single most important protein on this entire list. Number 1. Leucine, the master switch for muscle growth. Of all the proteins and amino acids scientists have ever studied for muscle preservation in older adults, leucine stands completely alone at the top. Leucine is one of the 9 essential amino acids, meaning your body cannot produce it on its own and must get it from food. But leucine does something that no other amino acid does. It directly activates a pathway in your cells called mTOR, which is essentially the master on-off switch for muscle protein synthesis. Without sufficient leucine, that switch stays off and your muscles simply cannot rebuild themselves no matter how much total protein you consume. A pivotal 2012 study published in the journal Clinical Nutrition demonstrated this perfectly. Researchers gave older adults a standard protein meal and measured their muscle protein synthesis. Then they gave them the same meal but added extra leucine. The leucine-enriched meal increased muscle protein synthesis by 25% compared to the standard meal with identical total protein. The leucine was the only difference, and it produced a 25% greater muscle-building response. That is the study I mentioned at the beginning, and it fundamentally changed how scientists approach muscle loss and aging. A 2018 systematic review in the journal Nutrients analyzed 16 clinical trials and concluded that leucine supplementation consistently improved muscle mass and physical performance in older adults, particularly those over 70 with existing sarcopenia. The effective dose identified across these studies was between 2.5 and 3 grams of leucine per meal. Most older adults only consume about 1 to 1.5 grams per meal, which falls below the threshold needed to activate the mTOR pathway. This gap is called the leucine threshold, and falling below it means your muscles never receive the signal to start rebuilding. Every single meal becomes a missed opportunity. The best natural sources of leucine include chicken breast, which provides about 2.5 grams per 100 gram serving, eggs, which contain roughly 0.6 grams per large egg, and soybeans, which offer about 2.9 grams per cup when cooked. Parmesan cheese is surprisingly one of the richest sources with 3.4 grams per 100 gram serving. If you struggle to reach that 2.5 gram threshold through food alone at every meal, leucine powder is available as a supplement. It dissolves in water and has a mildly bitter taste that can be masked by mixing it into juice or a smoothie. The optimal strategy backed by research is to ensure every single meal contains at least 2.5 grams of leucine. Spread your intake across 3 meals per day rather than loading it all into one meal. This keeps the mTOR pathway activated throughout the day, giving your muscles the maximum possible window for rebuilding. For anyone over 70, leucine is not optional. It is the single most critical nutrient for keeping your muscles alive and functional. And that is the complete picture. Those are the 6 proteins that science says can genuinely fight back against age-related muscle loss after 70. From casein protecting you overnight to leucine flipping the master switch for muscle growth at every single meal, each one plays a unique and critical role. The research is clear and the solutions are accessible. You do not need expensive treatments or complicated plans. You just need the right proteins in the right amounts at the right times. Your muscles are not done yet, and neither are you. If this video helped you understand what your body actually needs, hit that subscribe button so you never miss another video like this one. Thank you so much for watching.